Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of Military Forces Unleashed. Today we're diving deep into a topic that's as American as apple pie and questionable foreign policy decisions, the M1E3 Abrams tank. Now, if you've spent any time watching military shows or scrolling through defense forums, you've probably heard of the Abrams. It's that massive, growling steel beast that's been terrorizing the battlefield since the 1980s. But today, we're not talking about the old guard. We're talking about its new evolution, the M1E3 Abrams. In this video, we're going to break down what makes this next-generation Abrams tick, where it stands out, where it falters, and whether it's still the king of armored warfare or just another gas guzzler with a big gun. All right, let's take a step back for a quick history lesson. Don't worry, I'll keep it short and no pop quiz at the end. The M1 Abrams rolled onto the scene in 1980, replacing the aging M60 tank. Its goal? To punch harder, move faster, and survive longer than anything the Soviet Union could throw at it during the Cold War. Armed with a 120mm smoothbore cannon and protected by layers of composite armor, the Abrams was a revolutionary design. In its first big test during the Gulf War in 1991, the M1 made short work of Iraqi tanks. We're talking one-shot kills from over 2 kilometers away. The Abrams became a symbol of American military dominance, a rolling fortress that was nearly impossible to take down. But here's the thing. Warfare evolves. Enemies get smarter, weapons get deadlier, and that fortress from 1980 starts looking a little outdated. Enter the M1E3 Abrams. It's the U.S. Army's answer to modern threats. But is it the right answer? That's what we're about to find out. So, what makes the M1E3 Abrams different from its predecessors? Let's start with the basics. The E3 is all about shedding weight. One of the biggest criticisms of the older Abrams tanks is their sheer bulk. At over 70 metric tons, the M1A2 is like a sumo wrestler trying to run a marathon. The M1E3 aims to be leaner and meaner, ditching excess weight wherever possible. On the firepower front, don't expect drastic changes. The M1E3 keeps the tried-and-true 120mm cannon because, let's face it, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But what's interesting is how the E3 integrates new targeting systems and fire control tech. We're talking thermal imaging so advanced you could spot a mouse farting in the middle of the desert. But here's where things get spicy. Energy efficiency. The M1E3 ditches the old gas turbine engine for something more fuel efficient. Now, don't get me wrong, it still drinks fuel like your uncle at a free beer festival, but at least it's trying to cut back. This move is critical because battlefield logistics are a nightmare when your tanks need a convoy of fuel trucks just to keep rolling. Now let's geek out on the tech for a minute. The M1E3 is designed to fight in a world dominated by drones, anti-tank missiles, and electronic warfare. To counter these threats, the Abrams E3 is expected to incorporate cutting-edge active protection systems, APS. Imagine a tank with its own force field, swatting incoming missiles out of the air like a fly on a summer BBQ table. And because the battlefield isn't just about brute strength anymore, the M1E3 is getting smarter. The tank integrates advanced battlefield management systems, which basically turn it into a rolling command center. Crews can share data with infantry, drones, and other tanks in real time. Think of it as a networked Xbox Live, except the game involves high explosives and very real consequences. Oh, and if you're wondering about pop culture parallels, imagine Tony Stark upgrading his first Iron Man suit. That's kind of what the Army's trying to do here with the Abrams. Now, we know the older Abrams was a monster in the Gulf War, Iraq, and Afghanistan. It earned its reputation as a battlefield bulldozer. But let's get real. The wars of the future are changing. Urban combat, cheap drones, and portable anti-tank missiles like those javelins we keep seeing on the news are a nightmare for heavy armor. The Abrams' sheer size can make it a liability in close quarters. It's like trying to park a school bus in a crowded city. Good luck staying out of trouble. That said, its armor and firepower still make it a terror on open battlefields. The M1E3's upgrades aim to address these modern threats. The lighter design and APS systems are a step in the right direction. But here's the rub. Lighter tanks mean thinner armor, and APS systems aren't invincible. If you're facing a swarm of cheap drones or coordinated missile strikes, even the Abrams will start sweating. All right, let's get brutally honest. The M1E3 Abrams is still a beast, no doubt about it. Its firepower is unmatched, its tech is top tier, and it's about as intimidating as tanks get. But there are caveats. First, cost. Modernizing the Abrams isn't cheap, and keeping it fueled is a logistical headache. Second, while it's leaner than its predecessors, it's still a heavyweight compared to many European and Russian designs. Maneuverability will always be a challenge. And let's not forget maintenance. The Abrams is notorious for needing constant TLC. It's like owning a high-performance sports car. Awesome to drive, but a pain to keep running. So, is the M1E3 Abrams the tank of the future, or just another evolution of an aging design? Well, it's a bit of both. The Abrams remains one of the most formidable tanks on the planet, but it's fighting an uphill battle against changing warfare. Lighter, cheaper, and smarter alternatives are nipping at its heels. At the end of the day, the M1E3 is proof that the Abrams still has some fight left in it. It's a refined, modernized version of a classic, like slapping a turbocharger on an old muscle car. But whether it can dominate the battlefield of tomorrow, only time will tell. And that's where I turn it over to you guys. What do you think? Is the M1E3 Abrams still the king of the battlefield, or is it just a big, expensive relic on life support? If you enjoyed this deep dive into the M1E3 Abrams, don't forget to hit that like button, smash the subscribe, and share this video with your fellow military enthusiasts. And hey, let's keep the conversation going in the comments. I want to hear your take on this tank. Is it still worth the hype? Thanks for watching Military Forces Unleashed. Your support means the world, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay sharp, stay informed, and stay ready. Out.